Good morning. I'm going to try now to catch a huge snakehead. And snakehead are a fascinating fish. They're a lungfish. They come up and take air. You've got 1 or 2 seconds to put the fly in front of his nose and give it a bit of a bloop, and he should take it. And the cast I'm using for this is just a straightforward pick up and lay down cast with a few modifications. Firstly, I start with about 2 meters of line outside the tip. I've worked this out as my quickest way to get the fly in front of the fish. If I start with more line outside the tip, my lift is slower. So I've got 2 meters of line outside the tip, but I can slip line at the beginning of this lift, so I can slip about 2 meters as I lift the rod. Now I've got 4 meters of line outside the tip. Catch it, shoot line into the back cast, and then my forward delivery, I come through with a real wrist snap. It's got to be a vertical rod. If it's off the side, the fly's going to kick one way or the other, but I'll come forward and I'll use a real wrist snap and a haul, of course. So I'd actually come in from here, 2 meters to here, slip, shoot, bang. Well, I don't know if I did that with a wrist, but anyway, I tried to. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is this. Show you my tackle here. Got a Vince popper. Oops. And this one's got rabbit tail. I've been experimenting with, gives a bit more extra weight, which has been working well for me on the pickup and lay down, but I've been getting a few more follows and takes, so I might swap back to what I was using before, which was feathers split like a frog. And then I've got wire here because they've got really sharp teeth and they'll bite through everything else, so a bit of tiger wire, about that long, sometimes a little bit longer might be better, especially for the really big fish I'm going to catch today. And I've got a lefty loop here. And this is the weak link. This is a 30-pound tiger wire. I've got a lefty loop here. I reckon that's going to break at about 27, 28 pounds. And I know it's a weak link because I've got snagged. And then I'm going up from there. I've got 40-pound line with a Slim Beauty tied to this wire. Stretch of that. And then I've got a bikini twist here. That's tied into 70-pound with a Slim Beauty. And then the whole lot's about 10 feet long, and I've got one of these loop-to-loop things up here, which I was a bit suspect about, but I can tell you the wire is actually breaking first. It's an 8-weight rod, it's an 8-weight line. I reckon a 7-weight line would be better actually, because it would probably cut through the air a bit faster for these fast shots, and the rod is almost immaterial. It's pretty stiff 8, but it's certainly not enough really for trying to use it as a lever to fight these fish. So I'm back to this technique of pointing the rod at them and hand lining. But it's all about the speed shot. I can use a 10-weight here, but I can't get the same speed to get the fly in front of the fish, and so I catch less fish. So let's try and catch some. This is not perfect conditions now because it's a little bit windy and it's a little bit late in the day. It's about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock should be good, but anyway, it's a little bit too windy. But we're going to go around and check all these stumps here. This is an area I've known have snakehead, but they're not easy to catch. They're very difficult to catch. I know that because I've caught them, and I've made them difficult, and they don't like me anymore. There's 1 or 2 good fish here. I haven't caught the big ones here. Big snakehead is, well, I don't know, anything. I reckon anything approaching 10 pound is a really nice fish. But a trophy is in that 6 to 8 kilo mark, and I think they grow here probably to about 10 kilos. I've certainly had fish of around 8 kilos on so far this trip. Been living in this boat for 3 months now, my home, and I've had 2 6-kilo snakehead. They're the best fish landed, and I electronically weigh them, so I kind of know what they are. But I've certainly lost bigger bastards. But anyway, we'll catch them now. last time I fought one of these, I tell you. Good fish. Snakehead. 5 kilo snakehead. What a fish, huh? Nice. So there you go. I wish it was always like that. It's nice to go out and say I'm going to catch a big fish and then catch a big fish. The second shot didn't actually come from the same day. That was the day before. Actually, it was the day before, and that was a much more technical shot. As you saw, that was actually a free rising fish. The fish I caught that I landed was actually on babies. There were the very small young around. There's an accepted way of catching fish, and it is accepted because once you've landed the fish, they go back to the young. Very interesting fish. Both the male and the female will have their young and will travel around the lake with them, defending them off from other fish. And it's a much easier shot because you get to follow the young, and the young come up more often. It's still not easy, but it's much harder to catch them free rising, and that's the way I rather catch them. And as you could see, the first fish was free rising. It was coming through the stumps. You didn't see that, but he actually made 3 or 4 rises, and he was travelling. Often they come to the same place, but this was a travelling fish, and he was going to come up in 1 of 2 different places. And of course I made the shot and put the fly over his back, which he didn't like, and they never like it. You've really got to put it just in front of their nose. Too far in front of the nose, they don't see it. So it's a very accurate shot. Accuracy is as important as speed. And the fly the fish I did catch on was actually on. Sorry, not very organised because it's morning. I did actually have to change the fly, and I changed it to this this feather variation of the fly. And it's just a smaller fly. It's a very subtle take. I think you notice quite often they explode on it, but I think because the fly was a bit smaller, he just came over and ate it. So that was the fly. Also a Vince style popper. And yeah, it was great, and not a very technical fight because it was in open water, and you quite often get that with when they're on babies. So, but still nice to stick one and to show you the whole fight too, so you actually got an idea of what's going on here. Of course, I have been asked, how do you catch them? So that's most of it. There are some subtleties as well, and hopefully I'll get to show those. But I think from now on we'll do a different sort of video collection. That's kind of the instruction. But now I'm going to try to show you more moments. But hopefully we'll be still catching big fish like that. I know you're thinking, people who know me will go, "You jammy bastard."